Right, I started already to put the bolts back on the engine block. The technique is the same. You put one of these broken washers, and then the other nut, you tighten them together, and then tighten the whole thing.
He had a house where
So the assembly part brings in some questions. This clip here that you have to put in the cylinder, in the piston, I don't know how to put it back. Now, if I drop this inside the engine, there's gonna be a lot of cursing. Yay, the first one is on. Let's check the up part. Yeah, it's on. When you put the piston back on, it's got an arrow. See this? It's an arrow here. That points to the front. Also, one thing to know, the exhaust valve is smaller than the intake. So you'll get it. You'll know which way it is. Alright, that's one. I didn't think about this, but I think I should have put these after I connected the pistons. I didn't think about that. But yeah, it should be right. Ta-da! The pistons are back on. It's not that hard to put these clips on if you have a forceps. I use this 60-year-old forceps that I have from my granddad. One thing that I've changed is this piston axle, because this has like something here that's not smooth, and I don't like not smooth stuff. Lucky for me, I have a lot of spare parts from the other engine, so that's changed. But yeah, this is all, look how they look, nice and nice and clean. So I'll need to put the cylinders back on probably after my lunch break, my food break. And I think that's it for today. I'll have to search how to put the cylinders back on. It might be interesting. You might have to put some oil on the cylinder so these go in, or I don't know yet. We'll see. Another day. It's nicer today, which I'm glad. I keep doing stuff off camera. I think because I want to get it done. This is the cylinder block. I had to re-emphasize these things because they have paint on them. I use the same disc. It does wonders, man, with paint. This. Also, I've put this plug here, and it didn't have an O-ring, so I've put an O-ring in. It did just have some red thread locker. I've put some blue one in. I don't know if it matters, but I've put the O-ring and the blue thread locker in. And what I'll have to do now is give these a final clean, the cylinders itself, and clean these holes from any other debris or whatever, and put some oil on the cylinders and on the pistons and try and assemble them. I'll start from these, so I'll rev the engine until these are up, 2, 3, and then for 1 it's easy for me to get access to them. I'll use a piece of this cloth to shove in these holes so I can clean them. Right, now in the service manual it says coat the pistons with some oil, and then coat the piston rings, coat the cylinders with some oil also. So I'm gonna do just that. Like I said, I'll start with piston number 2 and 3 because these are the worst ones, I think. In modern times, not in 1985, people use these presses to press the piston rings in before they go into the cylinder. Now, in 1985 they didn't use this kind of tool. There's nothing in the manual about that. And you can see the pistons are not made for that because the thickness of where the rings are is smaller than this side of the piston. So technically I can't really use those presses. Now in the manual it says work your way in. Also, it might not be noticeable on the camera, but this is chamfered here, so it's like a lead-in so that the rings can go in. I've never done this, so it should be at least interesting. I'm putting some oil on the... Maybe now with the screwdriver. I'm just gonna use my finger. Alright, the gasket is going in. Not at all a strong gasket. They're all like really tiny, and then when you take out the stupid thing, when it gets locked in there, it gets locked in there. I tell you what, this is fun for me because it's the first time I'm doing it, but I'll have to do this a lot. I don't think it will be fun. Too much fun, that is. I wouldn't do this for a living. Take this off. Also, the guy in the clip, the guys in the clip, there were fucking 3 guys, man, doing this thing that I'm trying to do by myself. Alright. Let's put some oil in the other cylinder, the other pistons also, because I don't think I'll have space later. So that's up now. In the manual it also says about don't press too much because you'll break the piston rings. Yeah, man. So it works if you work the ring in with a screwdriver. Not a lot of force. Oh, this is a good noise. Yeah, man. That's 2 in. And now the other 2. I've got a feeling the last pistons will be the killer. Let's see if I can do it like that here without taking the pistons all the way up. Let's have a look. Stay there, bitch. Oh, that was a good sign. No way, I think I put the second one in. What I absolutely don't want to do is take out the other pistons. They all suck. Alright, now the thing is, when I push this one, the other one might come out. So, screwdriver in the shaft, like so. Okay. Yeah, man, it's in. It is in. And now, I think the last rings, they're no problem. Yep, it's going in. It's going in. It's going in. Carry on with this. I've got a feeling that I should have put the gasket on the cylinder side. Let's hope nothing bad's gonna happen if I didn't. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, it goes in nice. I keep wiping my hands because I don't want to get this engine oily again. Because it had a lot of dry oil on it. It looked like a neglected grandma that died. Oh my god, what? Where's this coming from? Right, when you tap it in, it's got two like aligning pins, one here, one on the opposite side. When you reach this level, I don't know, you kind of have to work it in, because this is when the shit hits the fan, really. Some people suggested tapping it with, it worked, no way, just by hand pushing it. Tapping it with like a rubber mallet, which I don't have. So I'm gonna use my skin hands to do it. So one went in, let's see if I can work the other one in also. I know it went because I felt it. Oh, yeah. That's what she said. Nice. This is rubber enough. Maybe I can. Yep, it's going in. It's in there. Now that sound means it's metal on metal. That's it. It's in all the way. Do the other side also. Yeah. It's in there, man. Woo! This has been successful. And now I'll cover it up because there's more work to be done to the cylinder head. That's the la pièce de résistance. That's it. Not sure what to do with the oil that's left in here. Not really sure. I'll give it a spin by hand to see if everything turns alright, which it should do. Tie the chain up. Okay. cover everything, and off with the head. Right, now this is next. You know how to do that because I did it in the first part with the broken one. This is the good one, so now no harm should come to this. Like I did before, I'll take these off with a magnet, then take the valves off one by one, lay them in the same position. This is how it goes on the engine. So that's the front, that's the back. So it's gonna be bang, 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 like that. In order to do this super speed, I'll do it off camera. But this looks way better. Like mine, the previous one had rust in here. This one is super clean, man. I like it. I started on the head. It's going well. It should be done today, hopefully. Today, hopefully, this would be on the engine and the engine will be sealed. Let's hope that's gonna happen. The tracks in the background, Glenn Miller, the best of the 40s, 50s. Bioshock like. There's this game that I like. I ran into a little bit of a problem with this head. See that all this shit? That's like carbon deposit. Now I've seen some people removing this with a wire brush, so I'm gonna attempt to do that. Put this in a vise, of course, with like cloth around it so I don't damage the stem. And then with the drill machine try and clean all this stuff out. This is the same valve after I cleaned it. This steel here, or whatever it is, it's super strong. I used the combination of this one to remove the big shit, this one to remove the inner stuff in the center, and when this didn't do it, I had a flathead screwdriver and I scraped the thing out of the center hole here. It's pretty tough, this. And now to finish it off, wire wool to make it all nice. I'm going to attempt to do some magic. So from this, whoosh, yeah man, I had to buy one because this is not ideal at all. I nearly scratched this head with these teeth, so fuck this too. I'm gonna return it to its rightful owner. Alright, last time I got stuck on how to remove these. Turns out there's no way you can remove these and reuse them. You just gotta, you grab them by the side with a forceps and you pull the fuckers out, and that's it. You can't reuse them. In that gasket set new ones came, so that's why I'm being so rough on these. Careful not to damage the walls. Again, this is how the head looks. That's all the parts. I had a little issue with exhaust valve number 2. Not sure if you can see, but it's bent. Lucky for me, I had the other engine, so I took another one from exhaust number 2. I did measure it also, and they're the same length, which is great. I'll measure it after I put it back. Also, I'll measure the clearance, and if I have to, I'll adjust the little penny size thing inside there. Yeah, I wonder why this got bent. I've checked the piston. It does have a tiny scratch on, but I don't know. Cleaning this cylinder head, I found on YouTube some guy, he was saying carb cleaner works, and it does. It works even with the carbon deposits. After that, I'll pressure wash it, and then I'll do the thing. Okay, I've cleaned this with some gasoline, so all that disgusting oil is off now. Gasoline and a toothbrush. Good combination. Now, I'm going to attempt to do the valve grinding thing. I've seen some YouTube clips of people how they do it and stuff, and they say be careful not to get the grinding paste in the stem, so like on the stem and into the stem guide, valve guide. So to not do that, I was thinking get one of these O-rings, put it in the valve. So this way, if any shit goes in here, it's stopped by the O-ring. That's it. Again, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Because this is upside down, number 4 is that. So, yeah, I've took out the valves like that. So, if it's upside down, then that goes here, this goes there, yeah. Because this is confusing, I'm going to write on this. So, all I can say about this paste is, holy shit stick, it actually works. Like this is the valve that I did, look at the bed. This is the valve, it's the old valve, like number 3, this is number 1. And the bed is cleaner. See all these, I don't know if you can see, but this one is full of dots and this is way cleaner. And you gotta hear the sound. I'll mute the music. You kinda hear it when it's done, if it doesn't make any more noise. It starts with a scratching noise and then it goes like, it's crazy. You gotta hear it. Hold on. Alright, so valve number 3 is next. This is how it looks before. Oil in the valve guide. A problem that I will have is this is too big for my exhaust valves, so that's gonna be interesting. And then oil on this. It's got some abrasive shit. You know? This fucking thing is too big, it's for cars. So that was the noise. It started from really screechy to really quiet. When it goes really quiet, it means it's a good sign. If paste gets in this, and this is too big for my valves, it's never gonna stick to them. So now see, there's no more noise now. That means it's clean. It's done. I must confess I was skeptical about this method, but look, this is one that I've just done. Exhaust valve, which is the worst. And this is the next one. You can't even see the line here on this one. This thing is so cool because like you have space here. So just tap it or whatever it's called and just drop it in. It's so hard with one hand. Get in there. Okay, so these tappets thingies on the intake side, this was 250, 250, 255, 245. I've got some pictures on the phone. Just in case I forget to put them in the clip when I listen to this, I'll know. I'm gonna do these ones now, the exhaust, and then attempt to take out the the metal gaskets for the exhaust part. I've put these Allen screws in here. What I did extra was I put this silicone, like I found it, and I have these O-rings that are temperature resistant or oil, gasoline resistant, whatever. So I put these here. Another thing I did was take some Q-tips and clean the excess silicone so it looks better. Yeah, that's it. I've put these caps on. In the manual it says the tightening torque for these. It tells you by the screw diameter, not by the head. And then these are two types, or three types. A normal, non-marked, a marked one. These ones say 7 on them. And there's a 4 value also marked on them. In the service manual you have this tightening torque chart and you go, this is 6 mil bolt. Alright, what does it say on it? 7. Alright, 6 mil, 7, you go 8 to 12 Newton meters. I don't have a wrench that goes that low, but I kind of did it by hand and felt it. Alright, time lapse mode. That being said, the head gasket is coming out. This is clean, that's okay. The head's done. Exciting times, man. Exciting times. This is a beautiful gasket, man. I wonder if this is symmetrical. I think it is. When I saw the Chernobyl happen, I thought this moment is far away now. Until I found Dolores. Oh, this is heavy. Alright, first I need to feed the chain. I'm going to feed this wire in. Oh, stay there. Stay there, bitch. Alright, I got the wire. Wire's not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna put this on the screws first. There we go. Drop it in. And now pull the chain. There you go, the chain. Keep this in there. There is a tightening order. It says next to these pegs, it says the tightening order. It's in, motherfuckers. Alright, now I need to tighten it quick because I've put some silicone down there at the cylinder side a long while ago. So I need to tighten these screws. Check the manual for the tightening ratio value. And always respect that value. Okay. Time lapse mode for now. Right, so with the manual it says tightening torque for that 15-20 nanometers, Newton meter, whatever, Nm. So what I'm gonna do is tighten them to half of that evenly in order, and then go to the specified value. Trying to find that table here. Yeah, 2025 nm. So I'm gonna go by hand to 1, 2. That's the first one. Just gonna tighten them by hand for now. And then go half of that if I can, if I have it on my wrench. 5. So this has got to be 6 here. Yeah, this is 6. And now I'm going to take the nanometer key and do them by value, 20 to 25. I'll do them 25 because I think that's the minimal value I have on my key. Wrench, ratchet. Right now my minimum value here, you can't see it. It's 28, but you can then have decimals, not like individual NMs. So I went to 28 minus 4, that's 24. I'll go like minus 5. And start doing them in order. Honestly, I would expect it to be tighter. Don't forget about this screw here on top of the head. This is supposed to be tightened like 812, it says in the manual, so I'll do it by hand because I don't know what 812 means.